Alright, so we are back. I have to start by saying that if you don't like this sort of thing, then I do apologise. If it's a terrible accent, then by all means you should let me know, because I would love to know that sort of thing, so that I might improve upon it. But I have had a thought, and I should like to do an episode entirely in a voice, to the extent that I'm able to make myself do it, mind you. Part of the struggle that I find when I try to do a voice is that it is quite easy for me to simply fall out of it at any given moment. I say a certain thing, whatever it may be, that I wish to say, and then I drop right back out of it, and the illusion is ruined, you know. Additionally, if one desired to improve said voices for whatever reason, whatever the reason may be, grandiose dreams of voice acting, or, you know, perhaps potentially leading somebody astray by meeting them for the first time with such a voice, and then not having it later. Oh my, what a lark that would be. So it would then behoove me to practice said voice, potentially for a longish amount of time, such as, for example, a 30 to 40-ish minute episode of Elden Ring. Let's try it. Let's try it. So, first of all, we're going to do the small recap that we like to do. In the last episode, we found a couple of wonderful magic items, the meteorite staff and the rock sling spell. We fought Millicent in the swamp. We did some questline steps for Sage Gowry, who resides nearby. And we fought Commander O'Neill in the swamp. So almost seems like we didn't accomplish very much, but I do remember that one of the things that we've discussed is that we are now doing things that are... Hello, can I get off of the horse? Do I know how to do it? Thank you. We are doing things now that are less familiar to me, and therefore take longer to do than simply blitzing on through things that we know very well. Here, for instance, there are 3 towers. There's one of the towers there that we have to climb. We have to light a brazier at the top of the tower. For all 3 towers. Don't shoot me with the thing. Thank you. And then upon lighting the 3rd brazier, it will dispel a magic barrier that will allow us to progress forth in Sage Gowry's questline, and shall also grant us access to a boss, I do believe. Another fun part about this thing is that just right there, right, when I got shot in the back with magic, my instinctual reaction would be to obviously slip out of the voice. And if one, were to do such a thing professionally, obviously that would not be allowed under any circumstances. One cannot drop the voice. Yes? At all. I mean, obviously, once the scene is complete, sure. Unless you want to be a method actor, and then you simply inhabit the character for a time. I don't necessarily know if that's my style, but... to be fair, I should say I don't really have a style, since I'm not any sort of an actor by any means, voice or otherwise. But in the spirit of discussing potential grand plans, that could be one of them. Indeed, that could be the type of plan that a friend might have. A plan in which that friend could do such things. Don't disappear on me. Oh, there's somebody shooting me. That scared the Jesus out of me. Another thing with this one specifically, this voice I'll say, is that I find myself possessed of two very distinct British-styled or English-styled voices. One of them is the Cockney. I would say, I believe, perhaps I should use a ranged attack, maybe? That might assist us here. A Cockney style, which, to my knowledge, is not necessarily pleasing to the ear, to some people, perhaps. Oh, he's still alive. There we go. Double slash. I personally enjoy the Cockney very much. That's why I do it. Seems like that makes sense. I like it, so I do it. But I can understand that some... Oh, I've missed my jump because I was distracted talking. Oh, but apparently you can simply climb back up here, so that's nice. Oh, so when you, when you think of a British accent, or when you speak of it to just anybody, right? Any sort of person that you wish to speak to for any reason, that person typically would not necessarily be looking for the Cockney type accent as their, preferred British. They might look for a more Queen's English type. And I myself am less well versed in the Queen's English. I just, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's something to do with the content that I've consumed over the course of my life, whether that's video games or movies or some such, or whatever it may be, I don't know, but possibly that said content has been primarily of the Cockney variety rather than of the classic Queen's English type. So my most natural voice, if I were to try to do an English voice for whatever reason, just for fun or for profit, whatever it may be, my most natural voice would be the Cockney, yes, and I would find myself simply defaulting back to it, whether it was the most appropriate one to use for the circumstance or not. And that's not ideal, right? If one, again, wished to use said talents for some reason, one would need to be capable of... most likely you would be better off with proper Queen's English, I think, if you only had to choose one of the two. But if you do, need to use the Cockney, and I would argue that I do, because it is my preferred... after all. But you would want to have the option of being able to use either of the two, and if you are going to use the Queen's English, you simply cannot, under any circumstances, accidentally drop into anything else. It's against the law, yes? You would be immediately off with your head, right? So in such a case, then, it needs to be practiced well enough such that there would be no risk of a sudden drop or similar. And indeed, in the case of, if we're discussing, something like professional voice acting, you have to be pretty good at it, right? You have to be able to do the voice rather successfully. Particularly when it comes to an English accent, I think people in general hear enough of them that they would not be pleased to hear a poor one. It's quite identifiable when somebody hears an English accent that is tainted in some way, such as having a Cockney element when it should not. So again, all of that to say, spent the last, see, even there, you have to be able to say the words correctly. It's not just about having the accent, but it's even individual words. You wouldn't say last, you would say last. But you wouldn't, because there's a Cockney last, and there's a proper Queen's English last. And there's two different words. And you would need to be able to appropriately use either one, depending on your circumstance. I'm searching for... We had found a small alcove earlier with an imbued sword key. Stop shooting me in the back. And that small alcove opened as a result of lighting the brazier. So there's 3 such small alcoves. Here is the second one that I've found, Night Comet spell. That's a decent spell for a magic user. It's not as good DPS as the actual Comet spell, but enemies don't dodge it, so that is nice. And then here we have a Spelldrake Talisman +1. That is magic defense. That's not bad. That's decent. And this, I believe, see there, we slightly slipped out of it. We find ourselves saying something that's very natural to say outside of the voice, and the voice just flutters off for no apparent reason. This is a small boss. Plural bosses, I suppose. They're actually just regular enemies, but they are fought before you would fight them as regular enemies. So they are given a boss battle status. Oh my, that's not what I expected. Okay, you're a bit too far. You need to take advantage of that, sure. They both have nice ranged capabilities, that's lovely. Good for them. We're very proud. Oh my, oh, please don't attack me. I would like to be able to get my own attack off so as to kill you without being killed. Thank you. I do appreciate the opportunity. Oh my. Oh my. There we go. There's one down. And now we should be fine. They don't do any sort of bleed or anything. We should just be able to block the attacks and kill the enemy. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. The Nox Flowing Sword. That's an item that you can get there. Oh, and there's a grace that appears, sure. Always want to discover the lost grace if you have the opportunity. We did pick up a golden seed, and apparently that gave us enough to increase our flasks. Flasks. Flasks? Flasks. Flasks. I think that's right. So that's good. You'll have to forgive my, practice. I know we're doing a serious Elden Ring episode, but we're also practicing while we do it. Why not multitask? Improve your skills while improving your skills. Lusat Glintstone Staff. Let's look first at the Nox Flowing Sword. It's a dexterity weapon. It can swing like a whip, sure. Sounds relatively similar actually to the Urumi whip that we acquired, except this is the actual whip version and this is the sword version that can be whip-like. It's a dex weapon, that's fine. And then we come down here and we find the Lusat's Glintstone Staff, which is, I believe, the most powerful staff in the game. All things considered, equal upgrades, etc. It also requires 52 intelligence, so you've got to be pretty intelligent to even use it in the first place. And it enhances the power of all sorceries, but consumes additional FP. So, I believe people typically use this staff with the Physic Flask that removes FP cost for spells for a time. You use this, that Physic, and then the Azure, Comet Azure spell. Do large damage. Amazing. You can one-shot bosses, as long as the boss doesn't move. Okay, and then we are continuing on our path. Not in this area, because this was just the boss. But, so the boss was unlocked by doing the 3 braziers to remove the magic barrier. That also removed the magic barrier for this area up here, which is the way out, essentially. I believe I'm missing a grace on my list. This is Celia Backstreets, so I'm missing the grace for the Nox. Oh my, excuse me, that was a terribly rude yawn. I don't have on my list the grace for the Nox duo that we just fought. So we should like to add that to the list. Whence we are done with the video. So we follow this path upward. It's a bit of a winding road. See, right there, I started to slip into the Cockney. That's not what we want to do, friend. We're trying to be very proper. We're trying to be the absolute authority on English-styled voices. For no reason other than because I desire it. It is my true and honest wish to be as good at that as I can be. And thus do I seek to improve myself. A shrimp. Oh, they do the threads. They do the pest threads. Oh, fuck me. Bloody shrimp. That's certainly one way in which I know that I would never be able to pass effectively as a true Englishman. Because I don't say bloody at all. I don't say bloody, I don't talk about tea and biscuits. I don't, none of these, like I can, you know, use the accent and the speech patterns, but I don't have the vocabulary to be able to pull it off successfully. Well, I suppose that would be something to work on as well if I ever got into that position, but... Anyway, here's Millicent.
There. My flesh writhes with scarlet rot. It is a curse.
It is a curse.
Not to be met.
See? If you want to talk like this person... There we go, switching straight into the Cockney after not speaking for 2 seconds. If you wanted to talk like this person, you would have to practice it, right? Or it would have to be your natural voice, which of course is not the case for me, so practice it is.
If you are wise, see my flesh bright.
Scarlet Rot. We also fought her in the swamp. We fought her as a red invader, so I don't know the story as far as that's concerned. Why was she a red invader in the swamp with 2 arms attacking us? And now she's a dying lady in the church with 1 arm who's a friend. Don't have an answer. I do not know the answer to that question. Oh, we also got a sacred tear. We can upgrade our flask 1 more time. We should do that. We should do this because it would benefit us. That's actually another benefit of having relatively decent vigor, is that all of these flask upgrades that I have for the increased amount of healing are actually effective, right? If you go through the game with 10 vigor, you don't really need very many sacred tears because a base level flask will fill you to full if you only have 50 HP. Oh, we have to talk to Gowry, don't get distracted. Prattling on and on about things that don't matter. That's what I do. Thank you, dog. Here's Gowry.
I have awaited you. The needle. Will you give it? I will reward you.
We will give it to the girl. Oh, do you know?
Millicent tended to
Oh, I was supposed to reload and then exhaust her dialogue before coming back to Gowry. Interesting. Hopefully that didn't break anything. I also didn't get the grace at the church. Oh my, that is disappointing. It's not the end of the world, obviously. It's just disappointing that we have to ride up and down these hills again. Again. Certain words that I struggle with, I don't really have a complete grasp of what that word should or should not be. Obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, I suppose there's no way that anybody would know this sort of thing, but I have no formal training. I have only my learned natural ability to mimic what I have heard over the course of my life. So, having no formal training, there are certainly cases in which I just fuck it up royally. You know, cock it up, as they say. A right bell end.
If you are wise, my flesh.
I've got a needle for you.
But never mind. I would rather than some. Would you mind? Well, that was easier than expected.
Nice. We've saved her life. Oh no, have we? Have we saved her life or have we ended it? Is she sleeping like our dear friend Thops? I believe she's okay. I believe she's actually fine. She just looks like she's sleeping. Ah, there she goes, alive and well.
My apologies. For when everything is as you say, even the nightmares have abated. Not that I could ever
The prosthesis wearer heirloom. Thank you.
I'm considered with the needle my destiny. It's all thanks. My name is Millicent. I'm considered with the needle my destiny.
I believe she is Millennia's sister or daughter, or they went to the same school or something. I don't remember the specifics, but they have a lot of similarities. And obviously they both use the same attack, the same signature move. So that's interesting. And then now that we have the grace successfully, thank you, disappointing that we didn't do that originally. I can also see on the map that there's a path here. There's a path here that goes very close to where Gowry is. Is that path usable to me? As a means of egressing faster than returning to the town? Does not look like it, right? It's quite a ways down, to be honest. I do not believe that that's a good idea. In fact, I would say that's probably a bad idea. So, we're not going to do it. What we are going to do is we are going to teleport back to our Grace here in Celia. We are going to run through again and talk to our friend Gowry. Oh, we get shot in the back. We do enjoy getting shot in the back. The list that I have is not... perhaps I've made some errors here because it doesn't... It's not clear to me if I really need to come back to speak to Gowry again. And I think I do. But it's not completely clear. Oh, now Millicent is here. Yeah, my list is not right at all.
So I decided, but I've only perhaps. Well, I must focus
Interesting.
on my journey. For which I must stay strong.
I'm very far away from you. You should not be talking to me. Alright, and then we continue on with our journey. We go from here to a Grace. That we might touch Grace. We don't need to fight those. We don't need to pick up those items. I know they're not worthwhile. We can simply force ourselves to skip them. And then we find this Grace. I believe this is now, we are near to where we had gotten the map. And we did a small detour and we got the map. Which also puts us close to another church over here. I can see the top of it in the distance over there. And there's a dragon in front of that church. So that's exciting. But first you may notice that I've passed the time until nightfall. And you may also notice, I will say first of all you would notice that I've done that in the past when we need to spawn several bosses that need to appear at night. The second thing that I was surprised to have noticed is that you could see the Deathbird's wings in the distance. Typically, that's not the case. So, we're going to fight a Deathbird. One of my least favorite enemies. Oh yes. Shield not effective against the Deathbird. I also would really appreciate it if he would come here instead of being over there. Because that's going to make things very strange. Okay, we got a hit. That's good. Oh, yeah, it's very strange to fight him with the terrain being the way it is. Perhaps we should stay on horseback until we can lure him away to a more open field type situation. That might be a good idea. Alright, so we pass the time until nightfall. We, again, very, very strange and unusual to see the Deathbird simply standing on the ground. That has not been the case for any other Deathbird. I just want to grab my runes and that toxic mushroom. And then I want you to leave that spot where you are. Because that area is not helping me to fight you. Are you going to do something useful? I'm stuck on terrain. I would like to not be stuck on terrain. Oh. Okay, okay. Okay, this is fine. This is not going terribly well, but it could be going worse. That was a poorly timed dodge that worked. We're trying to do jumping attacks that hit his head, and instead we died because we were not paying sufficient attention to what he was doing. That's fair. That's fine. That's not. Oh, we have to rest till night time. You're right. Can't just go gallivanting off. There we go. All right. So one more try. And of course we only need one more try because we're going to kill him this time. So. Seems quite simple, to be honest. Why would you need to try more than once if it takes the one try to kill him, you know? I do need that to stop happening. Thank you. Okay. We're having very bad luck with hitting him. Okay, yep, we're having very bad luck there. I don't remember how we killed the other Deathrite bird. I don't think it was a fun fight. Oh, I do remember now. Do you know what I remember? I remember that it took us a long time. So we may, because I know that we're at the end of our time already for a 30-minute episode. So we were not giving up by any means, but I will say that we may, if this drags on too long, we may need to leave the killing up ahead for part 2. Also known as episode 30. Let's do that, yes. There we go, perfect. How did that still hit me? Jesus, the explosion there is so fucking large. Bad terrain. Okay, we did hit him. Oh, he's doing the thing. I saw it. Okay, that's the homing spell that we didn't see him do last time. Okay, this is fine. Everything's going okay. Have not done a lot of staggering on him because we can't get consistent hits. see it. Oh, I dropped it there for a moment. Oh my... Oh no! We died and we were so close. Oh, that's a real heartbreaker. We were so close. Oh, again, you can't simply get on the horse. You do have to rest until night time. Alright, so look, it's a guy with a nice helmet. Did we pick up our runes last time? I don't think we did. I think I decided internally, I didn't say it out loud, but I think I decided internally to leave the runes alone. Yes, we have 0 runes, which means that we lost the 5,000 runes that we were carrying prior to that point, but the reason why I decided that is because 5,000 runes is not particularly meaningful. Certainly at this point in the game anyway. Oh, don't get death on you. Okay, we're okay. So you'd say bloody hell. Why is that moving in my direction when I am behind him? I don't think that should be the case. Oh, that is some other sort of attack? I don't remember. Okay, it's like a... oh my. What on earth? It's got a teleportation element to it. The fire tracks behind him when you're behind him, because the fire goes in whatever direction you are. Wonderful. Wonderful. Lesson learned. We're close. I know we are. I know we are not far away from successfully killing the death bird. Sorry, the death Rite bird. Perhaps that's the reason why I haven't killed him. I haven't given him the proper respect that he deserves. He's not simply a death bird. He is a death Rite bird. Holder of the sacred rites of whatever this flame shit is that he has. Is this going to go behind him again because I'm... oh, fuck me. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. I did not trust him there at all. Oh, he did it again. Hey. Yeah, he really doesn't appreciate it when you're inside him, by the way. Thought that would have been a stagger, but alright. Oh, why would I go for a charge attack? What is fucking wrong with me? Sometimes I just like to try to do charge attacks at very poor times. This is the fire tracking backwards, sure. It's no longer a safe attack because of that. We've lost all stagger build-up that we had. Oh, he's doing the thing! We dodged it! Goodness. And then somehow we died. I'm not sure why. Well. That is a terrible place to end an episode. But I believe that I am going to end it because we are near our time. We're nearly 40 minutes, at 40 minutes, I would say, in fact. And I think it's a good ending place. We'll come back next time and we'll kill the death bird. The death right bird, again, not giving him his proper respect. So, if you are here, I appreciate your company. Oh, you see what I did there? If you have any feedback or comments or similar, I would love to hear them, particularly in terms of what you think about doing voices. It seems like a very fun thing to me. I have actually quite enjoyed myself. Quite thoroughly, I must say. Now, there is a bit of a situation here because I am currently recording episode 29. And I believe the current episode that's up and active on YouTube, the most recent one at the moment, is episode 25. So there's a bit of a delay there in terms of I don't necessarily want to just, just publish everything immediately all at once, right? We want to give each episode a certain amount of time to allow it to cook, to boil up and do good things. So I likely won't be uploading this particular episode for another, let's say, 2 or 3 days, depending on the schedule that I want to try to do. So I won't actually know about the feedback, assuming there will be some, because I assume that you're going to provide me with some feedback. I won't know what that feedback is for another 3 days, in which case I will have likely filmed another 3 to 6 episodes worth. And I don't know if I will continue doing the voice in the meantime or not until I, hear how people like about it. Why would anybody not like it? I agree, but I would hate to terribly offend somebody, or people just don't like it because they think it's not very good. That's a possibility as well. Anyway, I'm really enjoying myself, and that's what matters. So, we are here having a good time. We will come back for next time. We will kill the death right bird. And I shall see you later.